Last couple video we talked about triangle theory, and I want to explain to you guys why this is very important. In CBT triangle theory, I want to refer them as feeling, thought, and behavior. So a person must have a feeling to be identified in order to address a thought process and how we can utilize behavior, especially positive reinforcement, to manage their mental health. And then we also talk about some goal setting. We talk about how to have client making choices in terms of short-term benefit and long-term benefit, right? So those are kind of important. Today we're gonna continue to jump in talking about how we identify their thought process. And that's very important because without identifying their thought process, we're not able to make any changes for the client. So how to activate in their thought process? That's also important, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. So let's use Josh as an example again, and we're trying to help Josh to identify their thought process or his thought process. Let's say Josh is afraid of going to the forest. Josh is afraid of social gathering. And why Josh feel that way? How we identify, and this is something that we can go over through the cognitive approach. So let's say when Josh was younger, Josh feel upset about certain things in their life. Josh get lost at the forest. And that make a lot of sense why Josh has those fears that hasn't been addressed even though he's become an adulthood. And thinking about their rational belief, thinking about Josh's rational thought, how we gonna improve and help Josh come back to the way that even though he think going to the forest getting scared is a rational thought, and we know it's not. It's just from his perspective. This is an irrational thought. So let's say identifying his thought process is important, and we have to digress. Let's say Josh was afraid of going to the forest, and he's still afraid of going to the forest, regardless. And that impact his ability to social with people. So we have to interpret in the event. We have to give Josh the opportunity to talk about the issue that he may have. And we can help Josh to write down his thought process, right? So that's very important. And and we can support Josh to twist those negative events and help Josh to feel much better. So let's go back to the diagram of thought, event, and emotion. So let's say the thought is Josh is afraid to go to the forest, afraid of social gathering, and the event is he was worried that he may get rejected when he go to a social event. And what's the emotion? It could be anxiety, it could be everything. So we have to identify those things in order to help our client Josh. How about if Josh cannot identify the thought? What can we do? Think about that. So a lot of time it's hard to know about a client's feeling, and the emotion was overwhelming, but don't worry about it. We have plenty of opportunity to practice and improve. We can learning how to hear what we're telling Josh in a skill to help Josh develop the skill in order to support Josh to make things happen. Okay, so we can continue to go over more information, and today we kind of identify Josh's thought process. And like I said, once we identify this thought process, we find out a core, and we can write a diagram. Let's say Josh is a fear of going to the forest, fear of social gathering, and we can write down a 7 paragraph or a circle why Josh is so afraid. Maybe he feel people will judge him. Maybe he feel he's too old. Maybe he feel like nothing to do with family. Maybe he feel like the people feel ashamed. So kind of identify those information are very important for Josh to continue with the treatment, right? Maybe he cannot pull together. Depending on what he say, you kind of write down those diagram, put a circle in the middle, The middle circle is why Josh is fear of going to forest and social event, and the rest of the diagram next to the circle you put the reason. Okay, you kind of put the reasoning of why. So thank you, and the next time we're gonna talk about how to break in Josh's negative thought process. We will see everybody at the next video.